oggi. Oran Gulimi di Canate.
Zu Autemhog und Paket! Stundi te! Pensavo fossi in consumazione!
Temple of Mars. Good to see our Roman gods outside of Rome.
Proconsul Flavius scares the shit from my guards. Sunday! What? Tibi ave! Tibi manere!
Do you think I can't feel you skulking in the shadows, Bayek of Siwa?
I have followed your path of murder and madness all the way from my homeland. And now, you will answer for my son's death, Roman!
No, Egyptian. Now you will bow before your god!
You murdered my son! My friend! Why didn't you kill me when you had the chance in Alexandria?
You should have joined the Order. You need us! But you chose slavery.
The man who killed my son, cowering to another temple.
Magi's friend Hepzibah also had a stubborn streak, like your son.
These are nothing but tricks! Your time on this land has ended!
Your mind will break eventually, just like all the others. My power, my potential, can you not feel it? You're nothing but a farmer. Camel herders and shit shovelers. That is all Egypt is.
You robbed my son of his afterlife!
None will mourn you, Magi.
amici!
Enough! Face me! You are barely a man! You will be judged in the Guat! He was a child, Flavius! My child!
Yeah, that's the one thing I do not regret in my life.
I will never give you peace!
Your son's death made the Order bow to me! Caesar, even. I had Rome! It gave me an empire of 1,000 sons, each one greater than the last. Come on! Finish me! You coward! The waste of time!
I can't do it! I can't do it!
It's alright, Papa.
No. I will lose you forever.
Not forever. I will be waiting for you in the field of reeds.
Just like Jason Voorhees, AC Origins refuses to die with dignity. This is around ending 2 or 3 of 4, in a place where it could have logically ended, but Ubisoft decided to use every single idea that they had, and so AC Origins gets 4 endings back to back. This is the boss fight with Flavius, who we finally deduced is the head of the Ancient One Order that we've been dealing with throughout the entire game. He is the last one of the snake, and therefore the last one that Bayek needs to kill to finally get his revenge on the snake who ended up killing his son, and his soul can rest. Unfortunately, this being the final boss in a Ubisoft game, it is typically shite. And unfortunately, this isn't a case of AC Chronicles' simple mistakes that we could have fixed. This thing has design fuck-ups all over the place. Mostly from its core idea is that Bayek needs to get very crafty sword shots on Flavius and his minions in order to end the fight. And it gets really fucking annoying because Flavius uses the piece of Eden that he has to teleport all around the room the instant that Bayek is about to hit anybody. Which gets really frickin' irritating after a long time that this boss fight takes. The reason that it makes the boss fight so irritating is just because of the random element in which you can actually dish out damage. It's not consistent throughout any sort of the boss fight. Because of the split-second nature of the teleporting magic that Flavius is employed in. Because of the teleporting mechanic that Flavius is using through the Piece of Eden. Along with that, he's also using that power to summon, like, another member of the Templar Order, clones through the Piece of Eden of his past compatriots and allowing them to also attack Bayek. The problem is that you can kill them in one shot, but they're even worse at teleporting than Flavius. Meaning that during the end parts of the boss fight, you will be dealing with somewhere between 3 or 5 clones that you can almost never touch. They are that bad. And it's not like AC Origins has a good parry and block mechanic available. This is one where the craftiness needs to be off the charts, and unfortunately, since there is no consistency to it, it really does feel like you're just battling a random number generator, which just turns the entire thing into an aggravating slog, even though it's this short. This is the one idea that the Flavius boss fight had, and it completely sucks. There's no way to use tactics against it because you don't have any tools, and honestly, even if you go with the ranged option, I doubt that Flavius is going to make it easy enough to actually make that worthwhile. You really should go melee on this one, unless you are an incredibly good shot, and can pin down such a wily target. Otherwise, Flavius, complete waste of code. Like, he is a completely unapologetic, nonsensically evil person with no plan and no presence in this story. We don't know what he's doing. Like, he just wants generic taking over of all of Egypt and putting Rome as the top superior race and state of the Egyptian people. He's also the one that keeps trying to murder people for incredibly vague reasons relating to making the world a better place. Again, they never frickin' explain anything, so it just comes off as melodrama to the nth degree. And for really what it's worth, we haven't seen Flavius in this game at all up until this point. And really, it took no investigation, it took no figuring anything out. We were just being told that Flavius was the one who was the only one left standing. We just had to go deal with him, because if we didn't, well, the Ancient Ones will always be around, and they're holding a piece of Eden, which usually would be enough of a reason for Bayek to do something. But really, this is one of your final bosses. Really, in a competently written story, this would have been the ending. Like, you have the climactic feel of a final boss. You have completely different gameplay to the rest of the game. A character who is in a position of such leadership in an organization that you've been fighting this entire time. This should be the end. And it has none of the climactic follow-up. It has none of the final boss relationship being concluded in an actual satisfying manner. It has nothing that other final bosses in other Creed games have had to at least justify them, to at least feel like there are a problem, and ultimately to feel like they are the conclusion, like they are the climax. Their death would actually bring about the ultimate change in the plot. Flavius is none of these. Flavius is just yet another Templar that needs a murder. The same as every other Templar on the Ancient Order rung. There's nothing different, there's nothing interesting, there's nothing unique, there's nothing satisfying, there's nothing that really gets us connected to Flavius, and he just comes off as another rabid dog that needs to die. In this type of situation, the antagonist needs to connect with the audience, and Flavius just can't, because we've spent no time with him. He doesn't have a plan to actually show us and give us a reason why we need him to also die and why we should want him to die. He's basically a freaking cardboard cutout with the word villain written on it. He could have been replaced with that literal metaphor in this game, and you probably would have had the same exact experience overall. There's nothing here that would make it feel like Ubisoft put in the work, that Ubisoft tried. And again, it's just another point in this game, among many, where Ubisoft fumbled the whole thing because they didn't bother with the follow-through. They didn't bother with the effort, so you get a non-bothered score, Ubisoft. Because that's what it deserves.